Welcome to the Declassified Files. I'm your host, Ben Carter. In the bowels of a classified archive, buried under layers of dust and forgotten by time, there lies a thick file labeled Operation Desert Storm. Within this file, amidst the tactical reports and mission briefings, there are testimonies that have been redacted, dismissed, and overlooked. Yet they paint a picture that defies explanation, that challenges our understanding of what we know, or what we think we know, about the Gulf War. These are the accounts of military pilots who, amidst the chaos of conflict, encountered something out of this world. The year was 1991. The Gulf War was in full swing. While the world watched as a coalition of nations engaged in a formidable display of military power, there were events unfolding in the vast, desert skies that would remain largely untold. These were incidents that eclipsed the conventional, crossing the boundary into the realm of the inexplicable, the uncanny, and the otherworldly. Several pilots, entrusted with the task of maintaining air superiority, reported seeing unidentified flying objects, or UFOs. These were not isolated incidents, but a pattern of sightings that stretched across the theater of war. Military aircraft, equipped with the most advanced technology of the era, engaged in dogfights with these anomalous objects, which defied the known laws of physics with their unprecedented speed, maneuverability, and evasion tactics. These sightings were often dismissed as stress-induced hallucinations, atmospheric phenomena, or misidentified aircraft. But the pilots, trained observers with a keen eye for detail, remained adamant about what they saw. They spoke of lights that danced in the desert night, of craft that moved with an eerie silence, of objects that disappeared and reappeared in the blink of an eye. One particular account stands out. A veteran pilot, call sign Maverick, described an encounter with a triangular craft. He recalled the object hovering in place one moment and darting away at incredible speed the next. His radar, state-of-the-art, failed to lock onto the object, as if it was somehow cloaked or shielded. The incident shook Maverick. He returned from his sortie visibly shaken, insisting on an immediate debrief. His superiors, however, were dismissive. They chalked it up to combat stress and fatigue. But Maverick wasn't alone. Other pilots began to report similar encounters: unexplained radar blips, inexplicable maneuvers, and objects that defied any known aircraft design. These accounts were not just mere tales spun by weary soldiers in the throes of war. They were recorded in official logs, noted down in mission debriefs, and mentioned in hushed conversations in the mess hall. Yet they were never officially acknowledged, left to gather dust in the forgotten corners of the military archives. But the question persists: what exactly did these pilots encounter in the skies over the Gulf? Could they have been advanced enemy aircraft, experimental technology, or perhaps something far more mysterious? The truth remains elusive, buried within the redacted lines of classified documents, hidden in the shadowy corners of forgotten operations. The Gulf War, fought between August 1990 and February 1991, saw the United States lead a coalition of 35 countries against Iraq. The conflict was marked by extensive aerial combat as coalition forces sought to regain control of Kuwait, which Iraq had invaded. This was a time when tensions ran high, and the world held its breath, watching the unfolding of a new type of warfare. It was against this backdrop that the UFO sightings occurred. The first reports trickled in around November 1990, a few months into the conflict. Pilots returning from sorties began to whisper about strange lights in the sky, objects that moved in ways that defied explanation. These sightings were initially dismissed, chalked up to the high-stress environment of war. The possibility of advanced enemy technology was considered, but quickly discarded, as the objects exhibited capabilities far beyond any known military equipment. As the conflict continued, more pilots began to report their encounters, adding to the growing body of evidence. These were not just the experiences of a few individuals, but sightings that spanned across different squadrons and various types of aircraft. The pilots spoke of their encounters in hushed tones, wary of the stigma associated with UFO sightings. Despite the wealth of eyewitness testimony, there was a deliberate lack of official acknowledgement. This was a time when the military's focus was on the conflict at hand, and any distraction, particularly one of such a controversial nature, was unwelcome. The sightings, therefore, were relegated to the realm of rumor and speculation, a sideshow to the main event of the war. The secrecy surrounding these encounters was further exacerbated by the political climate of the time. The Gulf War was a highly charged event, with the world divided along lines of support and opposition. Any information that could potentially be used by the enemy was tightly controlled. The UFO sightings thus became just another piece of classified information, hidden away from the public eye. The motives behind this suppression are a matter of speculation. Was it merely a case of the military trying to maintain focus on the war, or was there a more sinister reason, a deliberate attempt to hide evidence of extraterrestrial activity? The truth, like the UFOs themselves, remains elusive, shrouded in layers of secrecy and speculation. Yet the accounts of the sightings, the persistence of the pilots who reported them, and the sheer number of reports suggest that something extraordinary occurred amidst the chaos and confusion of the Gulf War. The veil of secrecy that shrouded the Gulf War UFO sightings from public knowledge began to lift in the years following the end of the conflict. It wasn't the result of a government admission or an official declassification process, but rather the persistence of a few individuals who dared to question what had been seen and experienced by these military pilots. Among these were investigative journalists who, despite facing significant professional and personal risks, began to dig into the stories that had been shared only in hushed whispers among the pilots. Armed with Freedom of Information Act requests and a dogged determination, they started to uncover fragments of the truth. Piece by piece, they began to assemble a puzzle that revealed a far more complex picture than anyone had anticipated. They discovered internal military reports that detailed the sightings and even included sketches drawn by the pilots. There were also declassified radar data logs that showed unexplained aerial objects moving at incredible speeds and executing maneuvers that defied the laws of physics. As these findings began to emerge, the government's response was initially one of silence. There were no official statements, no attempts to dismiss or explain the findings. It was as if they were hoping the matter would simply fade away. But it didn't. The revelations sparked public interest, leading to a wave of speculation and debate. UFO enthusiasts saw it as proof of extraterrestrial visitation, while skeptics suggested alternative explanations, ranging from optical illusions to top-secret military experiments. The military and government did eventually respond, but their statements were vague and non-committal, merely acknowledging the existence of the reports without offering any explanation or further information. They neither confirmed nor denied the possibility of extraterrestrial activity, choosing instead to maintain an aura of ambiguity. The public reaction was mixed. There were those who felt vindicated, believing that the findings confirmed long-held suspicions about government cover-ups of UFO sightings. Others reacted with skepticism, unable to accept the idea of extraterrestrial encounters without concrete proof. Yet regardless of belief, the revelation sparked a renewed interest in UFO sightings and ignited conversations about the possibility of extraterrestrial life. The Gulf War UFO sightings remain a subject of intrigue and speculation, a puzzle with pieces still missing. Despite the information that has come to light, the full picture of what transpired in the skies over the Persian Gulf during those months of conflict remains elusive. Each leaked document, each new testimony adds another piece to the puzzle and fuels the enduring mystery of the military pilots' forgotten encounters. Delving deeper into the Gulf War UFO encounters, we find a complex network of key figures and organizations. Among the most notable are the military pilots who reported the sightings, the top-secret military programs, and the governmental agencies involved in the subsequent investigation and cover-up. The military pilots play a crucial role in this narrative. They were the eyes and ears of the operation, the first to encounter these unexplained phenomena. Their reports were detailed, with sketches and descriptions of the objects they saw. They reported seeing aerial objects maneuvering in ways that defied known laws of physics, moving at speeds that were impossible for any human-made aircraft. The pilots reported their encounters to their superiors, following protocol. However, instead of the usual debriefing, many found themselves transferred to other posts or even discharged from service without explanation. This sudden and seemingly arbitrary reassignment of so many pilots raised suspicions. Was this a deliberate attempt to silence those who had witnessed the unexplained phenomena? Meanwhile, the agencies that had oversight of the military operations during the Gulf War were the Department of Defense and the Central Intelligence Agency. Both agencies have a history of involvement in UFO investigations, with the CIA notably running Project Blue Book, a systematic study of UFO reports from 1952 to 1969. In this case, however, both agencies remained conspicuously silent about the Gulf War UFO sightings. They neither confirmed nor denied the reports, choosing instead to maintain a veil of ambiguity. The absence of any official acknowledgement or explanation from these agencies only fueled public speculation and suspicion. Yet, amid the silence, whispers began to emerge about secret military programs. Rumors circulated about experimental aircraft, prototypes developed under projects so classified that even their existence was denied. These rumors suggested that the UFOs might not be extraterrestrial in origin, but rather cutting-edge military technology being tested in the field. These secret programs, if they existed, would have been overseen by a small group of high-ranking military and government officials. Their directive would have been to keep the nature of the projects hidden, to ensure that no information leaked to the public or rival nations. In this tangled web of mystery and secrecy, the chain of command appears to have been subverted. The usual reporting protocols were bypassed, and the pilots who reported the sightings were effectively silenced. Meanwhile, the agencies and programs that might have provided answers remained shrouded in secrecy. The result is an enduring enigma, a story of unidentified flying objects, silenced witnesses, and clandestine operations that continues to fuel speculation and debate. In the quest for concrete evidence, the most tangible reports are those from the pilots themselves. Their written accounts, though often dismissed by superiors, offer first-hand testimony of the anomalies they encountered. These documents, stored away in forgotten drawers and dusty boxes, have been unearthed over time, revealing a narrative that aligns eerily with the pilots' verbal accounts. One such report, written by an F-16 pilot, narrates an encounter with a glowing orange orb that moved with astounding speed and agility, defying the laws of physics as we understand them. The pilot's radar locked onto the object, but within seconds it vanished, leaving no trace of its existence. Another report, this time from an Apache helicopter pilot, recounts an inexplicable object hovering motionless in the sky before accelerating instantly to incredible speeds, again without a sonic boom, and disappearing into the horizon. These first-hand accounts are backed by the radar data from the aircraft and ground stations, which detected the unidentified objects. The radar signatures of these UFOs were distinct from any known aircraft, further corroborating the pilot's sightings. However, upon closer examination, it becomes apparent that many of these reports and accompanying data have been manipulated or outright redacted. Entire pages are missing, replaced with conspicuous "page not found" notices. Other pages have been heavily redacted, with large sections blacked out, indicating that someone, or something, didn't want this information in the public domain. Even more intriguing is the contradiction between the pilots' reports and the official military documents. The pilots recount witnessing UFOs, while the official records mention only unidentified targets or radar anomalies. The absence of the term UFO in official discourse creates a disconnect that further fuels the debate. Photographic evidence is scarce, given the classified nature of the operations and the lack of personal cameras in the cockpit. The few images that do exist are grainy, black-and-white shots taken from onboard cameras, showing blurry, indistinct shapes that could be dismissed as lens artifacts or atmospheric anomalies. The manipulation of reports, the redaction of vital information, and the contradiction between pilots' accounts and official records all contribute to the ongoing debate about the Gulf War UFO sightings. These discrepancies suggest a concerted effort to suppress the truth, creating an atmosphere of suspicion and mistrust that continues to this day. It leaves us with a lingering question: what exactly is being hidden, and why? Is it a cover-up of extraterrestrial visitation, or is it a smokescreen for classified military technology? The answers to these questions remain elusive, shrouded in layers of secrecy and ambiguity. In the wake of these mystifying encounters, the media became an unlikely ally in the dissemination of information, and the public's reaction varied from skeptical disbelief to outright acceptance. The Gulf War UFO sightings were covered extensively in tabloids, magazines, and television reports globally, sparking a widespread interest in UFO sightings and extraterrestrial life. Journalists, researchers, and enthusiasts delved into the reports, dissecting and analyzing the pilots' accounts and the limited photographic evidence available. However, the media's portrayal often leaned toward sensationalism, further muddying the waters of truth and speculation. The stories were frequently packaged as alien encounters, leading to a surge in pop culture interest in UFOs and extraterrestrials. Films, television shows, and books began to explore the possibility of otherworldly beings visiting Earth, often drawing on the Gulf War sightings for inspiration. Yet, amidst this media frenzy, the official narrative remained rigid and unyielding. Government responses were often dismissive, attributing the sightings to misinterpretations, equipment malfunctions, or experimental technology. The absence of UFO in official documents continued, and denials from military and government officials became commonplace, creating an air of dismissal that only served to fuel public speculation further. As time passed, the official stance began to evolve subtly, moving away from outright denial to more nuanced explanations. References to advanced technology testing, atmospheric phenomena, and rare astronomical events started to appear in official statements. There were even suggestions of psychological factors impacting the pilots' perceptions, pointing to stress, fatigue, and the strain of combat situations as possible causes for the reported sightings. However, this shift in narrative did little to assuage public curiosity and speculation. Instead, it amplified suspicions of a cover-up, reinforcing the belief that the government was concealing the truth about extraterrestrial encounters or advanced technology. This narrative of denial, evasion, and obfuscation has since become a staple in UFO lore, spurring countless theories and speculations about the secrets the government might be hiding. The Gulf War UFO sightings stand as a testament to the enduring enigma of the unidentified flying objects phenomenon. The dichotomy between the pilots' accounts, the media's portrayal, the public's perception, and the official narrative underlines the complexity of this issue. The veil of secrecy that shrouds these events continues to generate intrigue and speculation, and the quest for truth persists, propelling us deeper into the realms of the unknown. While the Gulf War UFO sightings continue to captivate and perplex, it's important to consider some alternate interpretations and counter-arguments that have been offered by skeptics and experts alike. These perspectives come from various fields, from aviation and astronomy to psychology and military intelligence, all aiming to provide a rational, earthbound explanation to these enigmatic occurrences. In aviation circles, some experts have suggested that what the pilots witnessed could have been a result of new, classified aircraft being tested. The time of the Gulf War coincided with a period of rapid technological advancement in military aviation. Stealth technology, advanced drones, and high-speed reconnaissance aircraft were all being developed and tested. It's conceivable that pilots could have encountered these experimental machines, their unfamiliar forms and capabilities leading to misidentification as UFOs. Astronomers and atmospheric scientists bring another angle to the table, proposing natural phenomena as a possible explanation. They point to rare atmospheric events such as ball lightning, sprites, and other transient luminous events that can create unusual and striking visual effects. These phenomena, while rare, are known to occur and could account for some of the sightings. Psychologists, on the other hand, emphasize the intense conditions that the pilots were operating under. The stress of combat, fatigue, and the use of night vision technology could all have contributed to altered perceptions and misinterpretations. It's well documented that under certain conditions, the human mind can misperceive and misinterpret visual stimuli, leading to sightings of phenomena that aren't actually present. Finally, military intelligence analysts propose the idea that the sightings could have been part of a misinformation campaign. By seeding stories of mysterious and unexplainable sightings, it's possible to distract and misdirect an enemy's attention, creating uncertainty and paranoia. The UFO sightings could, in this view, be a successful execution of psychological warfare. Each of these alternative explanations brings its own set of arguments and evidence, contributing to the ongoing debate about the nature of the Gulf War UFO sightings. They offer plausible, earthbound theories that challenge the extraterrestrial hypothesis. Yet, each explanation also has its limitations, and none can definitively account for all aspects of the reported sightings. Thus, the mystery remains. The UFO sightings during the Gulf War continue to intrigue and invite speculation, a puzzle that remains unsolved. The search for understanding continues, a testament to our enduring fascination with the unexplained and the unknown. The Gulf War UFO sightings share intriguing parallels with other cases of unidentified aerial phenomena reported by military personnel across different eras and geopolitical landscapes. The similarities in these sightings suggest a pattern that transcends national boundaries and time. Let's consider the Belgian UFO wave, for instance, which occurred around the same time as the Gulf War sightings, between 1989 and 1991. The Belgian Air Force reported encounters with triangular-shaped objects exhibiting extraordinary flight characteristics, much like some of the Gulf War sightings. Furthermore, despite extensive investigation, the Belgian authorities were unable to conclusively identify the origins of these objects, thereby deepening the mystery. And then, there's the infamous Rendlesham Forest incident of 1980 in the United Kingdom, where U.S. Air Force personnel stationed at RAF Bentwaters reported a series of strange encounters over several nights. They described craft with unusual shapes and inexplicable flight patterns, similar to the reports from the Gulf War. Drawing parallels with Cold War era, consider the numerous accounts of Foo Fighters, mysterious aerial objects reported by both Axis and Allied pilots. These objects displayed extraordinary maneuverability and speed, confounding observers and sparking wide-ranging theories that ranged from secret weapons to extraterrestrial craft. Looking further back, one may recall the ghost rockets of 1946, primarily sighted in Scandinavian skies. These were missile or rocket-like objects, often reported to crash into lakes but leaving no retrievable debris. The inability to identify these objects or their origins echoes the enduring enigma of the Gulf War sightings. The Gulf War UFO sightings also invite comparisons with current events. The recent admissions by the U.S. Department of Defense and the subsequent release of classified footage documenting encounters between military jets and unidentified objects has once again propelled the topic into the spotlight. These modern encounters often involve craft displaying capabilities far beyond known human technology, rekindling the debate about the nature and origin of these mysterious objects. The common thread running through these incidents is the involvement of military personnel, trained observers operating sophisticated equipment, and the inability to conclusively identify the objects encountered. These parallels highlight a recurring theme in UFO history: the enigmatic presence of superiorly maneuverable and technologically advanced objects in our skies, witnessed by credible observers, yet remaining unexplained. The enduring intrigue of the Gulf War UFO sightings seems to be a piece of an ever-evolving puzzle that continues to captivate the attention of scholars, enthusiasts, and professionals alike. With the emergence of new technology and the ongoing release of previously classified documents, the narrative surrounding these sightings remains as relevant as ever. In 2020, the United States Department of Defense established the Unidentified Aerial Phenomena Task Force, UAPTF, with the intent to investigate and gain insight into the nature and origins of unidentified aerial phenomena. The formation of this task force signifies a shift in official attitudes from skepticism to an openness to explore these mysteries. The Gulf War UFO sightings remain a cornerstone of these investigations, providing valuable case studies for analysis. Simultaneously, advances in digital technology have offered new possibilities for research. The advent of artificial intelligence and machine learning allows for the analysis of large volumes of data, including radar information, video footage, and eyewitness testimonies, in unprecedented ways. These tools can help discern patterns and correlations that might provide fresh insights into the Gulf War UFO sightings and beyond. Furthermore, the geopolitical landscape continues to mold the narrative of UFO sightings. The international rivalry for supremacy in technology and defense adds a layer of complexity to these enigmatic encounters. As nations strive to develop advanced technologies, the line between classified military projects and potential extraterrestrial activities becomes increasingly blurred, generating new dimensions in the ongoing investigation of the Gulf War sightings. On another note, the recent push for transparency in government has led to the declassification of numerous documents related to UFO sightings. The Freedom of Information Act in the U.S. and similar legislation worldwide have opened up avenues for independent research. New information discovered in these documents often brings renewed relevance to older cases like the Gulf War sightings. The Gulf War UFO sightings are thus a continually unfolding mystery, evolving with the times. The case not only resonates with the past, but also intertwines with the present, continually reshaping our understanding of this enigma. As we continue to probe the depths of this mystery, the Gulf War UFO sightings remain a beacon, illuminating the path towards uncovering the truth about these elusive phenomena. As we delve deeper into the shadows of this enigma, we are left standing at the crossroads of knowledge and mystery, power and secrecy. The Gulf War UFO sightings serve as a stark reminder of the delicate interplay between these forces, underscoring the complexities of our quest for truth. The pursuit of understanding these phenomena is not merely an exercise in fact-finding. It is, at its core, a profound exploration of humanity's thirst for knowledge and our relentless drive to uncover the unseen. This journey into the unknown is also a mirror reflecting the intricate dynamics of power and secrecy. The military's initial dismissals and later admissions, the veil of classified information, and the creeping suspicions of advanced technology shrouded in the guise of extraterrestrial encounters. All these elements blend into a potent narrative that underscores the profound influence of power structures. These revelations also call into question the nature of secrecy. Secrecy often acts as a double-edged sword. On one hand, it safeguards sensitive information that could potentially threaten national security. On the other, it breeds a sense of distrust and fuels speculation. The Gulf War UFO sightings exemplify this dynamic tension, as the veil of secrecy surrounding these events has both protected and obscured the truth. Yet, amid these layers of secrecy and power, the human element remains central. The testimonies of the military pilots, their experiences, fears, and curiosities lie at the heart of this mystery. Their voices, often forgotten or overlooked, add a poignant dimension to this saga, reminding us that at the core of these encounters are individuals grappling with experiences that defy understanding. In the end, the Gulf War UFO sightings offer a compelling narrative that transcends the confines of time and space. They represent a chapter in our ongoing quest to understand the unknown, a testament to our undying curiosity, and an indication of our willingness to challenge the boundaries of our knowledge. As we continue to grapple with the mysteries of the universe and our place within it, these sightings will remain an intriguing beacon, guiding us on our quest for understanding and truth. This quest is not just about UFOs or extraterrestrial life, it's about us, our ability to question, to seek, and ultimately, to evolve. Thanks for listening. This has been the Declassified Files. If you enjoyed today's episode, be sure to follow us wherever you listen to podcasts. And if you'd like to support the show, subscribe to the Forbidden Knowledge Network on Patreon. Subscribe now.